Short form takes me longer to make than long form. It's like that Abe Lincoln letter. Hey, sorry for the long letter. I didn't have time to write a short one. And it's also just so much more natural to crank these long form ones. It's fun to watch both, but man, I'm just in this workshop right now where I'm having to crank out, once a day, these 30-second to 60-second clips. And this shit's taking me like 2.5 hours to crank some of these things out, like round trip from writing the script to shooting it to editing it and finding the graphics to put in the background. And then I'll just go back on YouTube and I'll just watch some of the, my favorite vlogs and favorite content like that. And just, there's room for breathing. It's just more natural. And so I want to do both. I want to get good at both because it's important skill and you can generate leads on different platforms. And I think especially with social and like advertisements to be able to hook somebody's attention in and keep it. But man, you add it on top of a full-time job when, you have your own company and there's never any shortage of stuff to do when you got your own business, right? Whereas this idea of document, don't create, which I first heard from Gary Vee. He probably ripped it off from somebody else. But it's this idea of not having to think about creating new stuff all the time. Just document what you're already doing and how much easier that is to do because it's already happening. Getting involved in doing both of these adds nuance and depth and understanding to how messaging moves and information moves on the internet and the different skill sets that it requires and the time and consistency that both require as well.
Let's hop into this one-on-one. It's not crazy results yet, but 7 total leads. 4 of them have come from the one where I'm lifting up my shirt and say, do you want to burn stubborn belly fat?
So the question is, when I'm setting these appointments and I'm confirming the appointments, should I bring price up and talk about the accountability fee and how it works so I can disqualify someone that is going to hem and haw and throw their hands up in the air and bitch about price? Or should I withhold that and just confirm it so we can actually get them to show up and have a better chance at closing them in the meeting? Well, if the issue is having less appointments and not having enough appointments, if that's your bottleneck, then you should optimize for getting people to show up to the appointment.
Get them to define commitment. Don't make any assumptions. Hey, instead of saying, well, why don't you want to make a commitment? It's like, all right, talk to me. What aspects make it feel like a commitment? And see where that friction is, and then you can kind of find your in from there. The truth of the matter is, it's going to take a commitment. But we've designed this program in such a way that it's so structured, so organized, so dialed in on all the pieces that you need, that it's the most efficient way for you to get those results. And so, yeah, you're going to have to commit, but you're going to have to commit to a minimum baseline of 3.5 hours a week. Whereas if you do some of these other programs, it's going to take you way longer than that.
Powwow we got going on right here, huh? Jeez. Mariana and her bros.
Always my state.
You were wrong last time, you're wrong again, and you're just going to continue being wrong.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we just
1,200 with all the stuff that I put in. It's a giant bowl.
So I've been cranking a bunch of this short form content, talking a lot about it, and just pushing it out there. I'm 11 pieces that I've shipped. I'm just frustrated that it's not really popping off. I had one video that got a lot of comments, but it's I feel like I'm putting so much time in and really not getting the views out. Think about Cal Newport when he's talking about quit social media. So you've got on the one side, you've got Cal Newport saying that because is the tool really worth it? Think about a craftsman when they decide if they're going to use a tool or not, they just don't adapt it. They really think consciously if they're going to take that on and if it's going to help their workflow or hinder it. Is the cost benefit worth it? And then you've got on the other side of the spectrum, these guys that I'm taking the course from on Cut 30 that are they're building all of their business and opportunities are coming to them from short form content and then putting it out there. There's probably a discussion about consumption versus creation, a distinction to be made there. Because I don't think Cal Newport would say, hey, don't go creating content. But if that content is not leading to something, it's just a lot of effort in, nothing out. Now, I can absolutely justify it in terms of the experience I'm getting better at making these things, at practicing, at learning how media moves on the internet, those sorts of things, which I definitely feel. But it's when you make these things, you want to have something pop. You want to get a little bit of external validation of yeah, I got it, instead of just constantly going through the process and never really achieving the outcome. If I can get to a year of doing this, I feel that's where I'm going to get the exponential growth, not only in the learnings, but of like how to create content, how to write hooks, how to ship stuff fast, how to just work that creative muscle, inbound opportunities and things that are going to happen just as a result of continuing to show up and continuing to try. Where it's like you just got to earn your stripes right now. Part of the program, they've got this accountability Slack channel. You talk about your ideas, you talk about the stuff that you're doing, post your videos, get feedback and stuff. So I just posted that story. I was like, look, I feel like I've been grinding on this stuff. I'm not quite where I want to be with it yet, but I'm going to still keep shooting bullets, and I'm just putting this out there for anybody else that's kind of feeling that way. And like I got this like one comment back, and it was like a really cool thing. He came across and he found me from the Discover feed. It wouldn't happen without this, so anybody keep going. And a couple people like just like dropped me notes back, just talking about like, you know, hey, everything, like just want to check in, make sure everything's going good. And in my head, I'm like, man, should I not have put myself out there like that, and just kind of shared that vulnerability. And so I was like kind of in my head about it, like, oh man, I shouldn't have done that. I come home, I talked to Michelle. It's a great reason why you should have a partner and just bounce something off of her. I told her the whole story, like what I was doing, what I was thinking. She's like, no, that's freaking awesome. Like, that's great. Like, you're overthinking it. Moral of the story is just keep firing bullets, keep trying. Engage with other people that are in the arena that are going for it. Like, give them props too, give them feedback, because they're doing it with you. And I think those are the people that we need to like champion and lift up and encourage and keep going. Because when you're in it, like, dude, it's hard. And just share vulnerabilities, because somebody else is out there and that's going to resonate with them. Those are the things that they're going to use to sort of either feel less alone or just feel like I got somebody else that's going through this with me.